All right, so I'm going to give everybody about another minute to get in here. After that, we'll get started. I'm very excited to be here, and I really appreciate you being here as well in attendance. Can't wait to share with you all Wakelet can offer you to start off and continue through your school year. Laura, if you don't mind, tell me what your experience is with Wakelet. How comfortable are you? Is it new to you? I don't know, maybe a scale of 1 to 5. Let me know your level of, okay. So what is your role in education? Okay, you're going to have some really great options here, and what I'm going to share in certain aspects are some of the collections that I made for my multilingual learners. So you'll be able to get some of those aspects as well, including like immersive reader and a lot of great options to boost accessibility, but also a lot of great translation tools and stuff like that as well. Elizabeth, I love it. I don't know, as an ambassador, I think you might be more of a 5, but we'll see today. But I'm very excited to be here. We're going to get started at this point. Hopefully some more people will join in, but I'm excited to have both Laura and Elizabeth in here with me. This is the Wakelet Back to School Reboot presentation. It's going to be a make and take session. So I want this to be very, not so structured where I'm talking the whole time. You're going to be creating today. You're going to be kind of hopefully making some resources that you can take towards your school year. But in addition to that, I'm going to offer you multiple types of collections that you can use with your students and your colleagues to really introduce Wakelet and make it take off in your school or district. So just to start off today, I've got a quick little activity. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the link into the chat. So when you want to share a collection, you simply go to that share button in the top right corner. You want to make sure that that's can view if you don't want other people adding to that collection. And I'm going to drop that into the chat right now for you to take care of. And I'm just looking for you to now scroll down to that opening activity that we have. It's very basic here. And I think I might have seen Tisha pop in there. I'm not sure. So all I'm looking for is your name, your job title, and a photo or a GIF of what your dream job was as a kid. For me personally, I had some ideas that I was going to be a professional golfer. Those dreams were dashed when I played with a professional golfer and realized I was not at that level. But that was me as a kid. I would love to know what your dream job was as a kid. And then we can really get into the presentation and sharing all about Wakelet and what it can do for you. So what I'll also do is I will share the Google Doc, but I think you're both in, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'll just wait about a minute, let you fill that in. We'll take a quick look, and then we'll get going. All right. So you could also do a very similar type of activity with Wakelet where you bring in a blank collection or a collection that just has a cover image on it. And then you say, pick a GIF that represents how you're feeling today, or you provide some type of check-in with regard to the previous night's homework or anything along those lines. So I'm really going to try to provide many different types of use cases for you and hopefully offer you some new ways to really share Wakelet with others. All right, let's see how we're doing. Are we thinking about the GIFs or the photos? We're trying to find good ones, I'm sure. Or we're just thinking back to when we were children. That's another aspect that could be. All right, so while you put the finishing touches on adding in those images or those GIFs into that Google Doc, My name is Alex Isaacs. I'm an ed tech specialist in Long Branch Public Schools. I'm most active on Twitter or X or Twitter X or whatever we're calling it these days, but I'm trying to be more mindful to also share on Instagram, and I'm at the same handle on that. If you scan that QR code in the top right corner of this graphic, you will be brought to my Wakelet profile page. And then you have all of the different social media platforms for Wakelet underneath, along with their website. So the main thing that I want to share with you right here is a little bit of a deeper cut of Wakelet built right into this graphic. So you'll see that if I hover over this for a moment, that I'll now be able to expand this into full screen. And the reason why that's the case is because I actually took a link from Canva and I took the embed link. So Wakelet does a great job of incorporating and integrating all the different types of tech tools that are actually on this graphic all the way at the bottom of this presentation. But as you can see, all of these different tools and more are integrated right in, where you can app smash and do amazing things where you don't have to ever leave the platform. So that ability to embed that Canva image right in, where you have the ability to, all of these are linked. These are all hyperlinked. It's a live graphic. It's not just an image. So you can see that Canva's up here. That's one of the first things that I would share today, is that ability to use that Canva embed link to really get those high definition images into your collection. But I could not be more excited to be here today. Out of all the platforms that I'm, either certified in or use in my personal life or my work life, I want to say that Wakelet is the one that I'm probably most passionate about. I think that it offers so much to our students, to us, and I feel like anybody who's not using it, you'll find some type of benefit. And hopefully today, Laura, hopefully you're able to find something that you can take away and really use in your own practice as a Spanish teacher. So we got that done. Let's take a look if we were able to get some. Wow, a Jackie Childs reference, Elizabeth. I love it. That's pretty great right there. That's going to just really comfort me as of right now, because he was a heck of a lawyer on Seinfeld. That's a great reference right there. So my plan is to kind of share with you some of my collections and then really kind of let us create. So again, I don't want this to be so structured. You have a question at any time, drop it in the chat. You want to hop off of mute and ask me a question that way, or give me some feedback, I'd love to have it. So we are going to be giving you some templates today to actually remix yourself. And please, if at any time you need anything, just in the chat or feel free to hop off of mute. So the first collection that I feel could be something very useful. And Laura, I'll kind of try to keep in mind that this is new to you. Wakelet is a platform, and Elizabeth, you can provide some feedback in the chat as well to Laura. I'd love to have you participate with what you think really Wakelet is. To me, Laura, it's a tool that allows us to curate materials that look much more inviting, much more organized in one space. I took the background of Santa Cruz, California, and that's the background on either side of my collection. So you just have a really great ability to be creative. It offers you so many different use cases, and it's also highly accessible for kids with tools built right in. So I would encourage you to really think about, when we get to that call to action at the end of this presentation, to really think about giving this a try in your own practice. But the first one that I want to share is one that could be really pertinent to us as teachers, and it could be really great for students as well, which is a collection that I made previously talking about my goals for the new school year. And it really would not take very long to create this from scratch, but basically this was me offering multiple different media types in one space, trying to make an aesthetically pleasing collection that share what my goals are for this upcoming school year. So you could see that I've incorporated a moat message. And Elizabeth, I'd love to hear in the chat, even though this is a Wakelet session, I'd love to hear if you're using moat, because if not, we got to get you onto that one too. I'm trying to incorporate multiple different types of media. So you can see that I linked my Twitter or Twitter X account here, that if you click on it, it's a live link. I added in PNGs and added a description underneath those to kind of share a little bit more about those, as compared to just providing, well, that's a Wakelet one right there. Absolutely, Elizabeth, I could get you that info a little later, and MoatCon is coming up as well. But I wanted to represent Wakelet at more conferences. I want to bring certain platforms to my school district with my partner, Lois. I want to introduce AI to my teachers and redesign Lois and my website. So I just wanted to create a brief collection that allowed me to share what my goals were for the new school year. And, what I want to do is I want to offer you the opportunity to kind of create as I'm presenting. So if you want to just simply kind of, if you, Laura, if you don't already have an account on Wakelet, feel free to log in and create an account using your Google account or whatever sign on you're using in your school district. Elizabeth, you're obviously welcome to create as well.
I actually already created an account.
Awesome. That's
So
really cool.
I logged in through Clever and
Okay.
then went on because I had never heard of Wakelet. So I said, oh, let me give this a try.
Well, it's
So
great to hear from you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you came prepared. That's awesome.
yeah, no, I was having lunch. That's why I was muted. But
Oh,
but yeah,
great.
I'm open to looking at new ways to engage students because there's so many distractions in the classroom, especially at the high school level. But one thing we're going to do this year is not let them use their cell phones because that's like a super big distraction,
Okay.
especially when it comes to learning in the classroom, learning languages.
Okay.
And
Well,
we adopted a new program
sure.
that has a lot of like audio visual things embedded into it. So
Okay.
they have like vocab repetition, vocab games, and it
Okay.
has voice recognition. So they're
Awesome.
able to actually speak into their Chromebook, and it'll recognize whether or not they had the correct pronunciation.
Okay, that sounds really cool. I love that. And hey, all I can say is I appreciate teachers who are willing to try new things and really step out of their comfort zone. So I think that's awesome to hear. So when you're on your main profile page, and you can get there simply by clicking this little pop out button up top, you simply go to collections, and then any collections you've created are going to be here. So we're going to start completely from scratch. I'm going to get you started on that just so that you have it if you choose to do so. And the main thing that I would share is that design tool in the top right corner, and then hitting cover image, and then going design with Canva. Because to me, this is just such an easy way where you have preset templates already made, where all you have to do is really just click on whichever one you feel is most appropriate. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with this one. I like the look of that. And I would go, my goals for 23-24. And now I can resize this, make it fit on all one line. And I can customize this to get rid of 8th grade. And I'm just going to say Alex Isaacs. And all you have to do is hit publish. And then all you would have to do, if you don't like how that's looking or you still want to change it, all you would have to do is go back in, edit, and you're ready to go. Now, Laura, again, just as like a brief little tutorial, you have this little bar here. If you click all the way to the left, that's text. So that's just if you want to input text, link any items or web pages. You have the ability to add in different types of images, either from Canva or Giphy. I'm actually going to have you both maybe try doing a 5 GIF story as an activity you could bring back to your students. And then you also have all royalty-free, non-copyright infringed, unsplash images as well built right in. Bookmarks or anything that you saved from your Wakelet, exploring Wakelet collections. Otherwise, you can bookmark materials and bring that in. If you have a premium edition of Individual Pro, you get the beta of the new video, but that should be coming in a little bit of time. And then you also have the opportunity to upload PDFs. And then this waffle icon all the way to the right is where you have some really great options as well. So it can be integrated with Google Drive, where you're bringing in graphics and anything along those lines as well. So what I'll do before I keep going with the collections is I'll show that I have a group of PNGs of different types of EdTech platforms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in this Wakelet one. And Elizabeth, I don't know if you know this tip, but Laura, the really easy way to bring in any type of PNG image is just to simply take it and then drag it in, which for some reason I cannot do right now. Give me a moment. And you just drag it into that paste any web address bar, and then it's going to pop up. So if I didn't want this layout, if this was a little bit too large for me now, I would then go up to design, and then you could choose something a little bit smaller, or the grid view or something along those lines. So what I always like to do is I like to take whatever the material is that I'm sharing and try to pick a layout that is most, appropriate. So that's just a very basic, start of a collection. I would say, Alex's goals collection. And you'd be ready to start adding different types of materials. So Laura, I'll leave it up to you if you want to kind of just get started. Same to you, Elizabeth. If you want to bring in some materials, some different types of web pages or something that you feel passionate about, maybe, progressing a little bit more with another ed tech platform or with Wakelet, please feel free to just start a collection and we can kind of go back to that later on. But in addition to that, what I can also share with you really to kind of start off the school year is this All About Me template. And this was one that both myself and my partner Lois created. This is our Lolex EdTech's shared space. So within Wakelet, you also have the opportunity to have different collaborative spaces with individuals where you could then, share all the collections together and be able to edit or add depending on what permissions there are. And what I did on this one was, this is a column view. So this one I really like to use when I'm offering choice to my students or my colleagues. And you can see that I've incorporated both my example and Lois's example as a guide to anybody who participates in this. So if you choose to actually want to use this, you would take, it's going to look a little bit different on your end because you're not in my account. So it'll have this like page icon that says make a copy. And all you'd have to do is make that copy of that collection, and then you'd be able to share that link or remix that on your own where it wouldn't change mine, but you'd be able to change all the aspects of it. So that's a really great way to use Wakelet, is to take a template that people can really personalize and make their own. So this is one that I kind of created along with Lois, and we were so proud to share this, I believe, at the beginning of the school year with our teachers in Long Branch and Red Bank, where I was previously. So a couple great getting to know you activities that, regardless of content, regardless of anything, be a great way to start off to get to know your students and their goals. The next one that I want to share is one that I would feel will be pertinent to anybody in education as well. As I like to use Wakelet to create my newsletters. And, I'm thankful to have been on a math team at my previous school where everybody was really receptive to this idea of having Wakelet be our new newsletter. And, Laura, it sounded like you have some pretty cool options with the tech that you're implementing this year. One thing that I can say to you is that if your school has like a website, you're actually able to embed Wakelet collections into those websites. Usually it works on pretty much all, especially Google sites. So I believe Blackboard as well. So it really does wind up looking very nice. And you're not limited to just really sharing it with a link. You have that ability. And another nice thing is, let's say you're at back to school night, you could go share and then you could go QR code, and that could be posted somewhere in your room where I know the students might not be using cell phones, but I would assume that their parents would have them at some type of school event where you would then be able to share that with them. So this was actually the first newsletter I ever created with Wakelet. And I collaborated with my amazing math team at Red Bank Middle School. You can see that you can incorporate GIF banners that look really clean from Canva or Adobe Express. I'm not going to exclude them at all. And you can also see that I incorporated a video on how to translate the text and use the immersive reader, because that's one of the best aspects of this platform. So I can appreciate that in California, and then Elizabeth, I believe you're Florida. I can only imagine you're teaching multilingual learners on an everyday basis. So that ability to have that immersive reader for people who still might not be at that point yet where they're in a full, general education class or otherwise, and they're still in that ML class, that would be a great opportunity for them to have any text kind of read to them and then translated or otherwise. So this was with my team. I kind of provided from the math coach's perspective. She provided some different links and described what we did on a weekly basis with our PLC meetings. And now you can kind of see all the different types of media I was incorporating. This is just a basic text box that I wanted parents to be able to translate. So I kept it as text. And then I made a brief video that shared how I ran my classroom. You're able to integrate and embed tweets right in. So this was very fun for me to share the National Hispanic Heritage Month collection, which let's take a look. Let's go live to this old tweet. And let's take a look at my old National Hispanic Heritage Month collection. Why not? I've got two people who are with multilingual learners. Will it show up? Now I'm getting worried. Okay, here it is. So this was fall of 2021. And I had my students do different types of activities. And then this was me just taking images and bringing them in. Or If students did a slides presentation or a Google Doc or a report, I was able to bring those in as well. And I want to say that this was the first real Wakelet collection that got me on their radar, where I was highlighted on their like hot list of really cool collections. And you could see a recipe that I cooked, some of my students' favorite recipes. It really brought us together and developed that sense of community. And you could see that that's a tweet from 2021. I'm in Wakelet. I click on it and I'm brought all the way back. So it's really a great way to chronicle, especially if you're big on social media, to share what you're doing and then have it where you're never going to forget it and it never gets lost. But in addition to what I shared, I also had my other math teacher in my grade level, Mrs. Kansky, do some tangram stuff where she was doing more Google Docs and some images and just really more pictures of students at work. And then you have, seventh grade who did some tweets about counting integers, and sixth grade who also did some tweeting and some images. And we were just so proud to produce this. And the best part for me was the fact that I had some members of my team who were not very tech savvy, but they were able to navigate this platform. And that's why I'm very passionate about it. And, you could see 266 views. That wasn't just me promoting it on Twitter. That was a lot of my kids, their families, and they just really loved how this was set up. And, again, if you ever go to my collections, I actually have the 3 newsletters that we did for that year, fall, winter, and spring, and all were kind of different. So some great opportunities to make your newsletter and share what you're doing in your class with Wakelet. And I'll share a resource with you later that kind of shows different templates that you have built right into the community page that you can use. So at this point, I feel like I've been talking a lot. I'm getting to that time where I'm wanting to get us to create. We're almost there. What questions do you have at this point? Do you have any ideas on how you could implement this on any of the collections that I've shared in your own practice, or something that you could bring back to people in your district? I'd love to hear. Please feel free to drop that in the chat or hop off of mute your call. But I would love to hear what you think from the collections I've shown, what you think could be an idea at your role in your practice.
Well, I think it's a great way to incorporate all the different resources, all the different platforms that we use into one thing. I know I use Google Slides a lot in my classroom. And what I do is I take screenshots of the actual digital textbook, and then I put the activity that the kids want to work on a slide. And so that's the activity for the day. And I think this is a great resource just to share with the parents. This is a website you can go to. This is what you can see for homework or any other assignments. So it's a great way to keep everything just in one space.
Laura, I love it. I really appreciate it. That's absolutely on point. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I love that idea, Laura, and thank you. We're excited that you're doing this new journey here with us. And Alex is awesome stuff. So make sure to stay tuned with all his greatness. So that's amazing. I would like to share that last year I used it for the first time with my parents, and that was a big hit. I teach first grade, so the little ones. And so what I did was, and this is a growing process, right? So this year I'll be able to add some more new things to it. But it's just one page. And, I called it Miss Polo's Community. And so what I have on there is like the basic stuff, like the first week of school, dismissal procedures, attendance, where does my child go, our schedule, how to contact me, how to set up parent conferences. So I have all of those things, a lunch, the snack schedule, all of that there in one place. And I just share the link with them and everything is there. And then what I learned and reflected back from last year is throughout the school, at the beginning, it's overwhelming, right? Because there's so many things going on and so much information. So as the school year progressed, it was less questions. And they're like, and within their own little parent community that they formed, they would constantly share that link and tell me, thank you so much for having all in one place, because it's easier. I don't have to go here or there or try to figure it out. I know that, for example, the vocabulary templates we use, everything is there. So all the resources, were listed there all at once. And thinking for our older students, here, Laura, I would like to suggest what I really saw. Tisha's another great innovator there that with a lot of inspiration, building student portfolio and helping them prepare for like college is a wowza. So just a little food for thought there for you and your learners as well. So thank you for letting me share.
Of course. And Elizabeth, you must be reading my mind because we're going to get into digital portfolios today. So that's one of the things that I am probably most excited, along with Lois, to really bring to our juniors and seniors, especially in the high school in Long Branch Public Schools, because I feel like if you're handing a resume to somebody, that I feel like in this day, if you were to hand, if you were to share a digital portfolio with Wakelet, which I'll show you mine in a little bit, it could be so much more dynamic and level the playing field, so to speak, whether it be going for a different college or a job or otherwise. But we're definitely going to get into that, and we're going to get you into creating something very shortly, right about now. So the last few things that I want to share are some of the things that I was really most passionate about when I was, in the math classroom. And you could see this is one of my more popular collections, because I feel like, the thing that really got me the most was I had a wide span of abilities, skills, needs in my math class. So I wanted to make it where my friends who finished everything in about 15 minutes, I never had to worry about going, well, here's a photocopy of something, or here's a pile of papers. I wanted to make something live that they could go to that was easy to access and something that was really dynamic. And what I did was I basically took some of my favorite math activities and some non-math related, some that were just more 21st century skills, or I was always trying to tap into the SEL side, where I offered a reflection room that was more of like a digital calming room. But what I did was I tried to offer tiered activities. So in both of your positions as well, if you're trying to offer some high ceiling, low floor tasks where you give students the opportunity to participate in one space, you could see that I've done anything from the Make 24 game. These Google Docs were challenge questions that I created. I have 2 different versions of the math version of Wordle. So just all different things that I knew my students would like, giving them the opportunity to create Kahoots or TikTok videos on Microsoft Flip or quizzes, doing Nitro Type, or offering them Minecraft projects as well. And you could see that as compared to a Google Doc, think of what a Google Doc would look like with all of these links listed with bullet points. You'd have to kind of click on it to get a description of what it was and all the rest of it. I don't have to do that with Wakelet. Everything kind of looks nice. In that rare instance where you get a gray box that pops up, all you have to do is screenshot the website and then edit it and add that in. So this was something that was a big time saver for me, and allowed me to answer less of those same questions that I was dealing with before actually using this platform. So this is one of those collections that, I don't know how pertinent it would be to Elizabeth or Laura here, but at the same time, any math teachers, they'd be able to take this, make a copy, and then change the activities to fit their needs. So that was another one that I was really proud to have in my class. And I actually put it into Google Classroom and made a header that just said, "You're done, here you go." And they were ready to go with that. Now, the thing that I'm probably most passionate about, in addition to the digital portfolio aspect, and I promise right after this one we're going to create, are resource hubs. So, I'm sure the both of you were teaching through the hybrid and remote teaching days of 2021 and 2020, and it was a challenge. And I feel like, our students, some of their internet connections were spotty. Some of them were dealing with unimaginable, circumstances every single day. I was in a town that had, students below the poverty line, and, just a lot of students that were struggling with either emotional needs or dealing with some type of trauma. So I said to myself, if the last couple of years have been this big of a challenge for them, I'm going to do what I can to get the most pertinent, best materials to make it where, even if they're away from me, they're going to have me with them, from the way it looks, from the messages I'm providing them, to the content. So this is just one of my math resource hubs. But I now that I've become an ed tech specialist, I'm doing more ed tech stuff. But if you're using slides, Laura, you could do a lot with this, especially if you're using note slides in different units of your curriculum. So, I kind of always use the idea of doing my note slides and my Nearpod lessons. And you could see this is what it looks like, Laura. This is what a Google slide presentation looks like. So, as long as you have it on, it's viewable, it'll create a nice cover image for you as well. What I like to do is I like my note slides and my Nearpod all the way to the left. I do my vocab terms, and you could see that book creator actually embeds right into this platform as well. So I created a book of vocab terms for the entire textbook of Big Ideas Math, and that was available to my students where I was reading to them. So anybody who might not have been as proficient at English, they were still getting that full description along with transcriptions as well. You can also see where if, Laura, you're using any YouTube videos, they embed right in. You don't have to leave. And best yet, you don't have to worry about any of those creepy comments or other videos or anything else, where all you got to do is click on this.
Hello, everybody. Mr. Isaacs coming at you with a
And
tutorial.
Mr.
relating
Isaacs
to
is coming at you with a tutorial on solving linear systems of equations by graphing. But I'm going to stop right there because that's enough math talk, and I don't want to make anybody's eyes glaze over. It's a lot. I get it. Linear systems is a big time. I still get flashbacks to what the kids would look at me like with this topic, but it's okay. With this Wakelet collection, they were doing a lot better. And then I was offering kind of like the work that I was expecting them to complete. I was offering them study guides and Kami app materials. So, you know, Canva projects that they were making copies of. This is a template that was built right in where all you have to do is click, and then they were using this template to create their own projects. And it's just so many different things can be brought in one space that looks very pleasing and organized. So I would really encourage you both, you know, anything that you're doing this year, make those resource hubs for your learners. First grade, Elizabeth, might be a little bit young for that, but I know if you provided resources for parents, I'm sure that that would be, and I'm sure you're already doing that, but you know, these are great ideas that can really simplify things for parents when they're looking for information about the amazing things you're doing in class. So now we've finally gotten to that point. Now, full credit on this one. This is actually a template from Tisha Poncio, who Elizabeth mentioned before. She's one of Wakelet's digital learning specialists. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the view link in the chat for you both. And we're going to give this a try today. Now, for whatever reason, I had a little bit of a tough time with this activity. Like I saw it and you know, I copied this from Tisha's idea, her collection. And I had a little bit of a tough time with this. She did Justin Bieber's like progression of his life. And it was really very clever and funny. And I'm like, I guess I don't know celebrities that well. I'm more of a sports guy. So like, I'll show you my example that I incorporated into this, but I had a little bit of trouble. I'm actually anxious to see how you two do with this. But basically what you can do is you can use Wakelet to create a template. And this is one. So I made a copy of this, and you can see at the top, it says copied from Tisha Poncio's 5GIF story collection. And then I give the instructions in words. Now, if I felt like this was a really in-depth thing, I might provide audio or a video tutorial, and you'll see what I did below if you're already on the collection. But I feel like this text is enough. And in addition to that, I've just simply brought in this Canva GIF that's showing you exactly what to do to access your Jiffy options there. So what I'll do before I let you create, and then I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit and just let you ask questions or otherwise, is if you go here, you'll see my example. So again, I kind of had to go with sports because that's all I knew. And then I said to myself, well, I don't just want to do a person who's doing sports and, you know, just have all GIFs of him. So I said, okay, I know that Messi's now playing for Miami in the MLS. I'm going to now do one about Lionel Messi, the greatest soccer player of all time in many people's minds. So you take 5 GIFs that you're getting from Jiffy or Giphy. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. And I got one from him looking extremely young. I think he was playing with adults at this point because he was already so brilliant. Then I have one of him being with, I believe that was Barcelona. I don't know. Elizabeth, are you big into soccer or no? Anybody in here?
Not really.
That's okay. All right.
I'm following your lead.
I was big with your little ones, but that's okay. Then I have one of him being the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And then I also have it a little bit later on in his career where he won the World Cup most recently with Argentina. And then I said, I have to do something other than just Lionel Messi. So I decided, you know what? He's playing for the Miami MLS team. I'm going to get this really nice graphic built right in. So I would love to hear if you are both able to kind of go right in, pick out a person or something else that you feel might be pertinent to your life and come up with 5 GIFs that represent that. So I'm going to give us a little bit of time to kind of work on this. and then we can kind of get into that digital portfolio aspect of the presentation. So please, all you got to do is go into this little waffle over here on the, or excuse me, go to the image right here, that little image icon, go choose from Giphy, and you'll be ready to go and type whatever you need in order to bring in your clips. So any ideas out there? What are we thinking? Let me try to pull up Tisha's in the meantime as another example, because she went a lot deeper context than I did. I got to give her credit. Yeah, hers was very funny. What do we got here? All right, that's the template. All right, here it is. This is her Justin Bieber one. So I'm still kind of confused as to what this one represents. Maybe that, you know, he was, well, yeah, that he was a baby and he got like.
No,
maybe,
he has a song that was Baby.
oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
So these are just 5 things that I mean, is that him like
I don't know.
really being aggressive with his hair? I feel like it's him springing onto the scene at a very young age.
Oh,
That's
he had hair.
yes.
He had that
it's-
funky hairdo.
And then it's when he had the legal troubles, I remember. Poor guy. And then, you know, then he's grooving out with Bart Simpson here. And then we've got, is this the Princess Bride? I want to say, is that from the Princess Bride? I'm not sure. So much more deeper thought by Tisha, obviously. She was an ELA teacher, so I give her credit. She has that additional layer as compared to me being a math teacher. But I'd love to hear some ideas. I'd love to have you try this and share, but I'm going to give us some time here. So I might try to find a little bit of like lo-fi hip hop for the background, so it's a little less silence. And just please let me know if you need anything. And if you feel simply like creating something that would be more pertinent to you in your role this year, or Laura, if you want to try something back with either a resource hub or that goal template that we kind of started creating, that's fine as well. So whatever you feel will be a good use of your time here. And I figure I'll give us maybe 8 to 10 minutes on this, and then we can keep going. But please keep me posted if you need anything while I try to find us a little music. I'll also say that when you curate student work, when like in that National Hispanic Heritage Month collection, their pride in work, their agency, it goes up big time. Like probably the most creative and most willing to continue to really push their designs and do better was I did a Tinkercad Seesaw app smash with Wakelet, where they created graduation cakes and they had to calculate the volume on Tinkercad. When I posted their image in that Wakelet collection just to share with our classmates, each of my 3 blocks, as they would see other kids, they'd be like, oh, well, I like that idea. I now want to go back and edit. And they were really just building off of each other. And it was excellent to watch them do that. So they really, it does boost that agency and pride in work. And at this point, you know, my teaching career recently, that was really all I wanted. I wanted students to really have good feeling about what they were submitting and me to be able to share it with the world. So it was very exciting for them to really participate and see each other's work.
You know, an idea just popped into my head when you were talking. And I haven't done it, but I think I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to write it down. Is, you know, a back to school night or open house, however you might call it. You know, those 5 minutes, you know, where you're letting the parents in, the community. And I always like for them to do something so that I can take care of, you know, welcoming and make sure everything is seated, you know, everybody's sitting down or whatever, answer questions real quick.
Sure.
Make a Wakelet with some interactive activity of maybe getting the parents to get to know each other, get to know the teacher, or vice versa, or maybe to share their expectations for the year with the teacher and the student, you know, just to build that collaborative family environment. Yeah, I think that'd be a great little idea. That's not what I
I
did
love
now.
it.
It just popped into my head. I did something different. But anyways, yeah.
I love it, Elizabeth. And what comes to my mind is something that I think the parents would really get a kick out of is, that platform I mentioned before. Mote. You could have your kids record a Mote message and then embed that into the Wakelet, and then their parent or guardian could click on that. And maybe you have your kids share their goals for the school year. That would be a really great way to have both the parent, guardian, and their child on the same page. And really kind of get to better know their child's idea of what this school year is going to be for them. So I'm definitely going to follow up with you on a couple of different things. And I think Mote would be a tool that would really be worth your while as well, in addition to Wakelet, since they work so well together. They really do.
Is the Mote embedded, excuse me, in the Wakelet now?
You got it. And they've had that from about last summer, and it really it's really generated a lot more abilities for me to create and explain without having to make videos or having to record on a separate platform and then bring it into Drive and then upload it. So a lot of really great options.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I was in on a webinar on Fig Jam earlier today, and they had this really cool hip hop music playing in the background, lo-fi, just very peaceful. And I'm trying to figure out how to do it right now. And let me see if I can. It might be on a timer. All right. So I'll tell you what, I'll let this keep going until let's keep this going till about 3:45, where I let you create what you feel would be best for you if you just want to experiment on the platform. And at 3:45, we'll get into the digital portfolio aspect. And, then I'm going to kind of give you a choice. Do you want to kind of develop some ideas on what a student portfolio would look like? Or do you want to kind of create one for yourself? Elizabeth, I'm curious, do you have a digital portfolio on Wakelet as of now? Because you're doing some great stuff. I mean, you could embed that Microsoft Flip video right in.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, it's not published.
Okay.
But I am working, to build it and to, yes. So things are getting published on there and linked and so forth, and resources are being listed. It's, of course, it's a work in progress. So it'll be published soon. When just right now it's under construction.
Hey, we all got to start somewhere. And I assure you, the portfolio that I share a little bit later, it wasn't always like that. So I can fully appreciate it, that it's an evolving document. And that's another great aspect, Laura. Elizabeth hit it right there. These are evolving things that can change. You can update the links. You can, put the wake, something that I did was I had a Pi Day collection. And I took the collection from the previous year and put it into that collection. I made a column of photos from the previous year. So you can kind of chronicle time from year to year as well. So a lot of really great options available to you. It's really just a matter of your imagination and how far you can go with it. All right. So I'm going to try a new screen share. And I'm going to try to get this music going. We'll see how it goes. All right. Let's try that. All right, so let's do 2 more minutes. And then let's see what this sounds like. Okay. All right. This seems like okay music. You're probably not hearing it too loud. It doesn't sound very loud to me. All right.
It's good. Thank you.
All right, please let me know if it becomes too much, okay? A little bit sad. A little bit down at this point, but that's okay. It'll only be a couple minutes. We'll get back to the upbeat. So again, this whole collection is going to be shared, I believe, at the end of the conference. The recording will be available as well. I know I'm talking an awful lot and very quickly, so you'll have all of this available to you at the end. And I'm also dog sitting at the moment. So I've got my little friend Winnie here. She's right beside me. So she's being very good during this session. I had one yesterday with Adobe and she was barking like crazy. So today she's being a good girl.
Let's just say personal assistant.
Yes, she's my what do they call it? She's my service animal today for the nerves. So she's helped keeping me calm.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that.
But Elizabeth, I do mean it. Having a friendly face in here, I do appreciate it very much.
Oh, you're so sweet, my friend. Of course, we're better together, literally, to empower each
Absolutely.
other and the world. So, and I'm glad Laura's here learning, and I'm learning too.
Are you
So,
both
thank you.
from Florida,
I'm Jersey.
Jersey? Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm
Elizabeth?
Jersey. I've been there pretty much my whole life. I was in New York before that till about 5 years old.
Okay.
Where are you from, Laura? If
Yeah,
I
where are
may
you
ask?
located, Laura?
I'm in California.
Oh, so you are part of California. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
How's
I'm
the
in-
conference been so far?
I've liked it. There's a whole bunch of new technology and new
Yes.
apps and new. I there was another one I went to, and it was they were talking about what is it called? CurioPod.
Oh,
So
Curipod. Really cool tool as well. Yes, that's one
and
for
and
generating
then Fig,
lessons.
yeah, somebody else did Figma,
Yeah.
and so this is a lot of new stuff for me.
Well, you know what? You're still here and you're participating, so it's clear that you're engaged
Yeah,
and you're interested, and that's what it's all about. So I appreciate you big time.
yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think it'll be easier for me to do if I do this, just to upload the Google Slides, because I do a lot of Google Slides,
sure.
and it just add them onto one website. I don't have to worry about adding them to different things, and the kids can always just go in there. And I teach 2 levels of Spanish, Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, so then I
Okay.
can create my the one website, and they can click on whatever Spanish they do, Spanish
All
1 or
right.
2, and then just go onto
I
their
love
uh,
it.
their slides.
I love it. Were either of you able to come up with an idea for the 5 GIF story?
I, I was working on Frida Kahlo, but my GIFs weren't working. It wasn't loading. So
Okay, sometimes it takes a little time,
yeah.
sometimes.
So
Okay.
I did, I added a photo and I added a video.
Okay, that's cool. Who were we doing in this one, Laura? What did we do?
Frida Kahlo.
Oh, okay. So we're getting into the art aspect. Very
Yeah.
nice. Okay. So I would tell you that are you doing any type of art creative projects in your class with your students?
We did a few years back when it was, I had a little bit more time, because there were
Yeah.
some that were doing the in person. So I did, we did a self portrait, or kind of like I guess a Frida self portrait. So they were
Mhm.
able to follow the directions and draw it and then color it in.
That's awesome. Well, I think, again, if they're doing anything that involves where you get a finished product from them, I would tell you to curate their responses and get them into a Wakelet collection and, share that with the parents, guardians, your school. I think it really just gives you the opportunity to really showcase the great things going on in your class. Elizabeth, any ideas on a 5 GIF story of somebody?
Well, I think we're all on the same track here because I was doing Celia Cruz.
Okay.
She's big over here. So just a little 5 little, GIFs. I put the Cuban flag and an airplane, and then her in different stages of her life, including the Netflix series that came out. I don't know if it's there anymore, but anyways, so just it's just
I love it.
to see an evolving. Yeah.
Elizabeth,
So
please, if you don't mind, if you feel comfortable sharing it, would you mind dropping it into that Google Doc from before if you still have access to that?
sure, yeah, of course, I'll be happy.
I would love to take a look at it, but again, only if you're comfortable, no worries.
Of course, no
Um,
worries. Thank you.
I appreciate that. So, Elizabeth, this is where I'm sharing with you, where it was not always like this. I'm actually thinking at this point where, I actually might need to break this down into different collections, because while I feel like the majority of the content is here is very organized, I feel like my badge column has gotten a little out of control. But before we really delve into this, I just want to share briefly why I feel digital portfolios with Wakelet are something that is really worth your while if you're having students that are applying for anything. And Elizabeth, we're also going to share with you an example, a use case of a portfolio for a younger student as well. So it doesn't have to just be for us or students who are going out into the work world or a college. But this is my digital portfolio. I have made it public on my page. As you can see, Elizabeth, this is what a Moat message player is going to look like, and I'll play it briefly. Hello, everyone. Alex Isaacs coming at you today. And what you could do if you got the unlimited version of that, and Elizabeth, I could talk to Moat and finagle that for you for a while. You can actually translate the text into whatever language you like. So, and listeners can translate the text, the transcript into whatever language they like. So that's a really great option. But you could see that I embedded my resume into this collection. I have my Twitter page, which I actually have to update because it's no longer my Bluebird friend. It's now X, and it's very sad. I also have my LinkedIn. You can see that I've posted all of my different badges, you know, just to kind of, for me to keep track. You know, I'm really constantly trying to get more skilled with different ed tech platforms so that I offer the most options to my colleagues, the students. So I'm very passionate about, you know, really delving into all different types of ed tech platforms. In addition to that, I have my honors and other contributions. Those are kind of things that I did, like contributing to a Moat Learning Zone. I have my professional learning sessions that I've done, including this one. This is my most recent one, obviously going on today. And again, that YouTube content that you don't have to go anywhere, that Elizabeth, I'm sure that when you do ultimately publish your portfolio, I'd love for you to tag me so that I can see all the great YouTube stuff that you're a part of, because it's just really offering everything in one space. And when I tell you that, I love sharing this with everybody because so many people have such great content. So many people are accomplishing so much and wanting to share what they can do with the world. And what Wakelet allowed me to do, I do believe to a very high degree, I feel like this Wakelet digital portfolio contributed to me getting my ed tech specialist job. I do believe that. And both Lois and myself have a mutual friend who was kind of in dire straits looking for a new administrative position. We sat with her for about 3 hours. We made a Wakelet collection that had her picture on the cover image with kind of a similar layout to me. She stated her goals. She did, you know, different columns than me. But again, that's your option, whatever's most pertinent to you in your life. And she was able to land a position. So, you know, I just feel like I can't wait to kind of share a more simplified version of this with students and teachers in my district, to really show them what this can do to separate you from others applying to a college or a job or a drama club or some type of thing that a junior or a senior would maybe be going for. This is my partner Lois's digital portfolio as well. She also is very big into the aesthetic of her collections. She has very similar columns to me, but also a little bit different. And you can kind of see that she added some gradient banners and different types of, you know, she had her website, so she incorporated that as well. And the more pertinent things for all of us here are the student portfolios. And these are really amazing, but you could see that I actually linked these profiles, these Wakelet profiles of these student ambassadors, and they have all of their stuff kind of broken down by type, where her basically profile page is her portfolio. All 4 of these sections is her portfolio. I've lumped everything into one space. And again, I'm feeling like I'm going to need to do some renovation, some spring cleaning, even though it's, oh God, it's end of summer. But I'm going to have to do something like that. But you could see that if you go to Meet the Ambassador, because she's a student ambassador, which is another great program that Wakelet offers, you could see that she's bringing in photos of herself and describing them, some of her likes, being a part of the high school band, some of her, you know, fun things that she likes to do in her spare time. She has a YouTube video that she was a part of, what she would like to do after graduating. So there's just so many different options. And there's her with her beautiful corgi right there, showing him love. There's so many different options as far as types of portfolios, how many you make, how you break it down. You could see that this is a portfolio in the media layout. So it's not necessarily having to be like a column like mine. And this is just a really nicely organized profile that has all the different aspects of her. Then you also have Jill Parsons, which is kind of broken down by her designs, her graphic arts. And I actually believed I checked out this one the other day. You can kind of see some of her artwork and some of her photography. It's really pretty great with the black and white effect and everything else. And again, not a column layout, but still just as informative for me getting to know this person, where if you're sharing this with an individual, why is she sharing this? Interesting. Veggie grid. Okay, so she's even getting involved with this kind. So these are photos of her taking shots at the supermarket. Very interesting. But you have that ability to let kids make this their own. So Laura, especially you're being a high school Spanish teacher, you know, would you be willing to have your kids make their own digital portfolios in your class. That would be really amazing. I think that that would be something that you could really stand out as a Spanish teacher with your students, having them create something even language related of their accomplishments and their projects during your class. So I feel like that's something really excellent. And then I also wanted to bring in something for younger learners where, Elizabeth, this might be a little bit more pertinent to you. I believe this is Ryan's daughter. Ryan is another amazing Wakelet digital media specialist, or digital learning specialist, excuse me. And you can kind of see that Microsoft Flip videos embed right in very easily. You have the ability to now post this certificate that she managed to win at her school for being a great leader. You have, I believe that this was something about her having earned the award. I believe that that's why, and you're attaching a script for Leadership Day. So this was also something from an event that she participated in. She's sharing via text how she's excited to be a speaker at Leadership Day, and that, you know, she's going to help her friends and her teachers, one of the things that she really likes to do. So I would venture to say, Elizabeth, that your first graders, with your amazing abilities with ed tech, I got a feeling that they might be able to even get on here and add some stuff, at the very least, maybe some audio recordings of things that they hope to achieve, or maybe creating an agenda or something like that for them and their parents. But I just love the fact that even a person in elementary school can really create a aesthetically pleasing, fun digital portfolio. And you could see that this is a goal of hers. You know, I want to work on my ability to show perspective and you know, really self-reflecting, using tech for good, those built-in digital, you know, digital citizenship skills that we're trying to instill in our learners. It's built right into this platform. So I would really encourage you, regardless of grade level, take that chance with Wakelet to say, you know what, create a cover image that represents you. And then I want to know about what your goals are. What is something that you feel you could work on? What's a project that you're proud of? And I want to get it into all one space where one day they're able to create something that's going to help get them a job, get them into a better college. So I did a lot of talking there again. I would love for us to all, and Elizabeth, you already have a digital portfolio that's kind of a work in progress. I'd love to have you pull it up and maybe add a little bit more to it. I don't know, have you added in your Microsoft Flip video from last week or the week before?
I believe I did.
Oh, awesome. You did a great job with Mary Alice. I was loving every moment, I got to tell you.
Oh, thank you. She is a bundle of joy. When you were saying some things, I was just thinking of her. And with the collections, you know, a passion projects, that'll be a great way for the little ones and even the older students to be able to go ahead and document, you know, that passion project from start A, you know, point A to point B and continuing, you know, it doesn't end. With the little ones, I used it more and they helped me. And, you know, because of course, guided and so forth, but like brainstorming, you know, brainstorming ideas of what do you think this is, or where do you want to go, attributes of this topic, whatever the case may be. And even for our English language learners, posting a word in English that might be complicated, how can we break it down, and adding those visuals to it with the GIFs or the text or the picture, so they're able to break down that big word and be able to analyze it. It's just another thought and idea there.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
So please feel free to add to your portfolio if you can think of anything else. If if you're keeping track of your professional learning, this is obviously another session that you can share and really kind of chronicle and keep track of. And I also want to make sure to share that this is in the collection that is the Back to School Reboot that I created for you. That's going to be with all the resources at the end of the conference. I incorporated Wakelet's template section. So Laura, you're not always stuck having to create from scratch, where if you wanted students to create a more visual resume, you could simply click on this link, share that with them, and then this is the make a copy button that they would use. So then Wakelet is giving you all the different types of headings and areas that you could add in your information to, and then you could add in your portfolio down here. So you have a lot of different options built right in. And as I told you, I really want to make sure you know all of these different categories of templates are included in that resource that I've already shared with you, and I'm going to share at the end as well. So you don't have to start from scratch. But whatever you think, like Elizabeth, again, you're more than welcome to add to what you have. you're more than welcome to maybe come up with some different headings that would be appropriate for your littles if you wanted them to try to, make a collection. I'm trying to think about, you know that Immersive Reader has that new like reading analysis built in, right? I think you were talking about that today with Mary Alice.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I mean, that could be really cool. Like if they're either reading text and then they're recording themselves and then they're uploading that audio message next to the text and then kind of tracking their progress. I think that would be really cool. I mean, it's even screen recording. Like I know they're first graders, so I got to kind of dial it down a little bit, but I know that they've made it. Are they using Chromebooks in your class?
No, we're a Microsoft district.
Okay.
Yeah, and so with that being said, I've had students. I teach gifted and talented students, so they're a little
Awesome.
bit, they're a little bit more advanced. Usually, when they enter first grade, they already know how to read. So we just ump it up a little bit, empower them some more, and take different kinds of journeys. And with that being said, they've been able to make videos of like breaking news of this, of that, and talking about different characters, different individuals that have made historical impacts,
Sure.
expanding that cultural awareness. And we do a lot of international studies, especially with Africa, and they go ahead and bring in those resources. And they're learning gains. Actually, I should say, I bring in the resources and they bring their learning gains. Well, they end up teaching me also, because I make a big deal out of it. So yeah, we have a whole big celebration. But anyways, so yeah, so those are just
That's
some
awesome.
other different ideas. Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I love the individuals and the classes that are willing to take that risk of collaborating with other classes, other teachers, other experts around the world. I think that's something that I tried back in the day with Empatico, but I was never quite able to connect with that other class. But I'm really going to try with Beluga this year to kind of incorporate that. And the Wakelet community also offers some great opportunities similar to that as well. But I'll give us, I don't know, I figure we got about a little over or a little under 30 minutes left. I figure I'll give us about, I don't know, maybe till about 4:10 to either work on a portfolio of ourselves or to kind of create maybe some header ideas for our students if we were to create a template for them to use to create a digital portfolio. But this is the thing, and Lois is right over there at the moment. My partner in crime, the other ed tech specialist in the district, we serve 10 schools. This student portfolio program that we're really going to try to launch this year is one of the things we're most passionate about. So we're very excited to promote Wakelet to the fullest, maybe get a Wakelet school designation at one of our elementary schools. And, the Wakelet team may be about as gracious of a group of ed tech professionals that I've ever met at any platform. They actually came and visited Lois at her school district. They visited classes. They took kids' feedback. So they really want to make the platform be as good as it can, as amazing as it can for everyone, whether it be kids, adults, or administrators otherwise. So you really you are only limited by your imagination, how far you want to go out there. And I started with stuff that I was very passionate about and very strong with. And then I started to branch out into like choice boards and app smashing and bringing in different types of media where I just wanted it to be a fun experience whenever anybody entered one of my collections. So I feel like I got very good feedback on the resource hubs, especially. And this year, it's going to be a lot about kind of tailoring the digital portfolio. And with our gifted and talented program, Elizabeth, we're going to try to get our kids student ambassador certified. But I think they're third and fourth grade in our district. And I would also tell you that Tanya Gonzalez is a great resource with regard to that, because she had third graders using the platform and they were doing amazing things, making portfolios of their work. So I really can't wait to see what you do this year. And, I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, Tanya is a great resource. Very proud of her. Thanks to Twitter, we also connected. She's a great amiga, truly inspirational as well. And very proud of her and her, third grade family. I had an idea, I had a thought and it just went out the window. Okay, maybe I'll come back. Let me go get it.
Yes, that's okay. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, but your portfolio and your partner in crimes, both of you are truly inspirational. I like this format. In my portfolio, I also have the column format. That's just the way my brain thinks.
Sure.
And I like the way you put the YouTubes over here. I already had listed the YouTube from with Ann and Flip. I already had it
Awesome.
on there.
That's great.
Yeah, so I like this format. So thank you for the idea of how
Of
to break this
course.
down a little bit more.
Of course, anytime. I feel like what I think I might do is I might break it up. I might take the badges out and make that a separate collection because I feel like it's gotten a little too much. And unless Wakelet changes the ability to kind of scroll with different collections, it takes a bit of time at this point to get to the bottom. I'm trying to pose that I actually have some semblance of a life outside of ed tech, but based on my 99 plus column, that gets a little bit sketchy. But you know, if nothing else, this is just meant to show my passion for technology and those opportunities that I never dreamed I could ever be a part of, just sharing it with the world. And, you know, I actually redesigned my cover image a couple of different times and finally incorporated a new profile picture of myself where I wasn't the same old hunched over guy with a blazer on. So I just kind of keep evolving it, keep adding to it. And, you know, it's a matter of how I choose to organize it a little bit more moving ahead.
Well, that's the beauty of the Wakelet is that it evolves, you know, and that's just like us growing through the process as well, and be able to see that. I like to keep the old ones and then go back and I build this one a year later. I'm like, wow, I went from here to here, you know, just like our student grows in progress, you know, the same thing there. I did remember my thought now. It was a student ambassador program.
Sure.
I wanted to implement it last year at school. I ran into a few challenges, wasn't able to do it. Anywho, but I will go ahead and target that this year. We are a K-8 center, so I would go ahead and work with our older students to prepare them, because my mindset is to prepare those 8th graders for high school and beyond and show them how to use this platform so they can go ahead and start building their portfolios for that. I did have one of my former students who graduated last year as an 8th grader, not going to high school. I saw him in the hallway and I was like, come here, because he's really into technology. I was like, come here. I'm going to show you something. And I showed him Wakelet like in 5 minutes. He's like, oh, I had no idea. And I was like, here, run with this now. So I checked in with him and he's starting that journey now, building his high school portfolio. So that's really amazing.
And you know what the best part about it is as well, the first part of the student ambassador program, and I will drop this in for you as well, Elizabeth. I'm sure you'll be able to find it somewhere else, but I think this is a newly updated version of it. So I'll put that into my collection as well. Laura, you could see that I just took a link for a collection. I'm going to scroll down to resources. You hover in between any two parts of it. And all you got to do then is simply click the plus, paste your link in, and then that Wakelet collection is going to be live, available to you right there. So Elizabeth, that's for you. I'm sure, again, I'm sure you'll be able to find it, but you know, if that's a goal of yours as well, I'm excited to see you kind of chronicle that this year, and it's available to you right there as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And for Laura, the same thing with your older students to help them, you know, enhance and get them ready for their next stage of life. That's truly empowering. And another good thing, one of the many things about this also is like, if you know how, if you link like a Google Doc or a slideshow, right, Laura, that you like to do that. If you change something on your slideshow, for me, it is a peace of mind knowing that I change it and automatically it's changed on Wakelet. That I don't have to remember, oh, I need to go back to this other, you know, platform to change it because I revised another slide or whatever the case may be. So having that live interaction, having the two of them connect is truly impactful.
Elizabeth, great points. We got to get you onto a Wakelet webinar one of these days. I think you really know what you're talking about. So I don't know about that you threw out earlier, but I like everything you're saying is very pertinent and very timely, and I really like what you're talking about. I think these are some amazing ideas, and I just, you know, you push it to the fullest this year. Now it's your first full year as an ambassador. I'm sure you're going to do amazing things.
Thank you, sir. Likewise.
You got it.
I started working on my page.
Okay.
My page has the Senderos Dos and Senderos Uno, and then it has a different column for resources.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
I love it. How are you finding kind of navigating the platform? Have you been able to bring in one of your Google Slides presentations?
Yep. I put it in already.
Awesome.
And then I was able to put the image of the textbook on there because it showed up blank. So there's an image of the textbook there. And then I'm hoping to do that as the slides and then have like a homework that,
You were able to figure out how to replace the image with one?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Easy
So
enough.
look at you, Laura. Look, so Laura, are you on socials at all or not so much?
I'm on Facebook, but it's more like a personal thing. I don't
Okay.
have like teacher thing for the
Okay.
students to click into.
All right,
But
well, I'll tell you what, on the Google form at the end, it has my personal Gmail address.
uh-huh.
I'd love for you to keep in touch with me if you ever need anything with
Okay.
regard to Wakelet, if you're giving it a shot in your class, okay?
Yeah, but I think this works out better for me because all I have to do is share one link and have the parents just click on it and then everything is there. So I'm gonna
You
do my
got it.
syllabus, put my syllabus in there for each class.
You got it.
Do a thing for the slides and I will update them as I go and do a thing for homework and any
I
other
love it.
resources or links that we may need will be there.
And something along the lines that you just shared, Laura, I was very big into virtual classrooms as a result of trying to also keep things very organized. I kind of broke columns down by month, and then I was adding in my virtual classrooms for my students to access if they were absent or otherwise. So I like the idea of using something that kind of evolves over time that you just shared. I really like that idea, and I think it would be a great space to offer your students and their guardians. I think it would be great.
Yeah, what we do is when I do my slides, I do it by date, and we list the things that we're going to cover, the goal, and so we have that listed and the activities that we're doing and where we're doing them at. And then I'm trying to incorporate not be all digital. They need to write stuff too, so we're dividing the activities up in the classroom. Some will be done in class where I visually check them and make sure that they're completed, and then the rest will be done through their Chromebook.
Do you feel like it's going to help keep you more organized? Do you feel like this will save you some time?
For sure, for sure.
Okay,
And then
cool.
what I'm also doing is I'm sharing my slides with the other teachers that teach the same classes, so we can all start kind of on the same page and do similar activities. And
I
it'll
love
help that I'm only teaching 5 classes. Last year and the year before I taught 6.
Oh boy.
And we have 7 periods at our school.
Oh no.
So
You
I
had your
was
one prep each day and that was it?
that was it. That was it.
No,
'Cause we
no,
had
no special days where you get 2 ever?
nope.
Oh,
Because
that's a tough break.
we had a shortage of teachers and so it was tough. There were 3 of us teaching 6.
Oh,
So that was tough.
oh boy. All right. Well, I respect that. I'm glad you get that little bit of a break this year as compared to last. And hopefully between that and these new tech tools that you're learning today,
Oh
you're
yeah,
really
for sure.
able to save some time for yourself, get some of that back that you might have lost the last couple of years.
That's what I'm hoping for, just to stay more
Awesome.
organized and with the extra time, use it wisely and just try to make our lives easier. Because we have
Awesome.
two new teachers that are going through the program, so I'm sure it'll help them too.
I love it. I always become inspired by people who are just starting to use it. And again, Laura, when I tell you that some people might not have been able to just figure out how to change a cover image of one of your bits of material, it's showing me that you're interested and you're engaged, and that's really cool. So I'm pretty certain just by getting to know you all for this brief amount of time in a Zoom meet, I'm sure students are very lucky to have you. That's really awesome.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So we're getting to the end here. I feel like it went fast. I hope it's the same for you both. I want to kind of share the next steps as far as, Laura, I fully believe you're gonna give this your best shot this year and give it a run. And again, if you ever feel like you're hitting any type of roadblock, I want you to contact me, please. Elizabeth, I know you're going to use it to the fullest. But what I'm going to show you here is my real call to action. And again, I can't thank you both enough for the amount that you participated today and the ideas that you shared. I'm actually going to go back and watch this recording, not only to scrutinize myself, but to also kind of take down some of those different ideas because Lois and I serve students anywhere between pre-K to 12. So I'm going to definitely try to incorporate some of those ideas that you both shared. But again, this is a moat player that if you were to record a moat, I'll do a very brief demo with you both. This is another really good one for boosting accessibility. You have the extension installed. You record any type of message. I'm so thankful for Elizabeth and Laura for being a part of this excellent session here at the Back to School Reboot. All you got to do is click that check mark, and that link is automatically copied to the clipboard where now if I go in here and just paste that address in, that link, you're going to see a Moat embed player come right up. So this was something that I was really doing in all of my Wakelet collections. And it's something that when I'm trying to make something as accessible as possible for my multilingual learners who I have the most respect for, you know, I was trying to make it where you need to translate text. Here's the tool for this. You need immersive reader. I'm going to take the passage of text and bring it onto Wakelet. So it's just another really great option, another great tech tool that marries very well with Wakelet in addition to so many others. So my call to action, if you want to listen to it later, you can. I kind of summarized it underneath here. My call to action for you both is to now view an additional Wakelet online event, whether one that's coming up and a shameless plug. I believe I've got one coming up next week on alternative assessment. I'd love to have you join that one. But what I did was I linked Wakelet's events page for you. And you can see that you have, there I am. I didn't even realize they had put this up yet. I'm there ready to go on August 10th. But you also have different community showcases going on in Elizabeth. Again, I'm going to see whatever Wakelet trainer magic I can work to try to get you involved in one of these because you got such great energy. But you also have their previous events. So if you want to take a look at the Wakelet Community Week sessions that were going on, you could do that. If you want to see me in more of a creative mode where it's just me showing you app smashing opportunities, you've got it, Elizabeth. It's the honest truth. They're all here. So I gave you that opportunity that, again, I perform a professional learning session. Every single time I say to myself, well, what now? What next? What are you going to do with what I'm sharing with you? Is it just, hey, that bearded guy, he was kind of funny. The time went quick. I liked he showed me all the things with Wakelet, but I want to make you take that next step. I want to make this be a platform that you're really enjoying and using in your own practice. So I would encourage you, my call to action, I'm challenging you both to get onto that events page and check out a video relating to Wakelet. In addition to that, what I would love for you to both do, and I believe Laura Laura, you shared a collection here? I got to check it out if so. I don't know. You might not have it as public to be able to be viewed yet, Laura. I think you were trying to share that with me. So if you go to share and you make this where it's either published or if you go can view. So you probably have it as no access. All you got to do is click on can view and you should be good to go. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is we're in the final about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to drop this Google form in the chat for you both to fill out if you don't mind. Now, I didn't really know what to expect as far as number of attendees, but I assure you I'm going to do everything I can to get you both swag for the great participation and just really great ideas that were going on throughout this session. So if you wouldn't mind just giving your first, last name, district organization, your title, role, best contact, email, and then if you're interested in getting more information, Laura, you can click on yes there. And then I want to know, and you don't have to worry about hurting my feelings. Wakelet is getting these results, so you don't have to worry about it. I want to know if you felt like I was knowledgeable and helpful, and if you feel like I gave you multiple use cases that you can implement right away in your own practice. If you have any additional comments that you'd like me to know, I'd love to hear them. And again, if you're ever interested in getting into that Mote aspect, once you install the Chrome extension, Mote recording tools are built right into any of the Google apps. So really great options there. That's why I have that purple button and you might not. But if you wouldn't mind completing that Google form for me so I can be better informed as far as what I can do better next time, I would really appreciate it. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes on that, not even, and then we'll kind of close out with some of the additional resources that I'm sharing with you. But I can't thank you both enough for being here and participating as well.
I just have to say, this was a 2-for-1, Wakelet and a comedy show. Did you need to charge him now for the comedy show?
I always try, Elizabeth. I got to keep it light or else I drive myself crazy every day. So I do my best.
That you are doing an awesome sauce job. I'm cracking up with you, not at you, please. It's always with you. So that's, I just love it. Thank you for bringing that positive energy. Appreciate that.
I appreciate you, Elizabeth. You do the same very well. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So we'll give some feedback. I'm going to share the last bit of resources that I have. And then I'll open it up to a final Q&A and we will say our goodbyes. And then Elizabeth, I don't think it's going to be the end for us. We'll have to do some type of collaboration on one of the many tools that we're proficient in, maybe a Microsoft Flip. And Laura, I just look forward to hopefully hearing back from you in the future that you're doing well and using it to the fullest in your high school Spanish class. But no pressure. I get that it's a lot getting back into the swing of things at the beginning of the school year. And I know that California schools, I believe you guys are back in about
Next
a week or so, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, next week we're back. We're back to professional development, then the week after students show up. But I'm already back this week, so that's okay.
You're getting set up, you're getting ready for your new groups of students. I'm sure they're going to be hopefully wanting to run through a brick wall for you in your Spanish class. I really do.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new program. It should be good. We've had the same program for, I don't know, maybe 30 years at the school.
Oh my God.
So it's
Okay.
good. Yeah, I know.
We're in the new age. We're in the new century. That's awesome.
Yeah, so this is like automatically graded. So all you have to do is to sign the activities and it automatically scores them for the most part. And
Wow.
they're automatically put in a category, formative, summative, homework, whatever you want to put in. And then all you have to do is transfer the grade over to our Synergy. So that's nice.
Awesome. Well, I'm really happy to hear that. It sounds like you're very enthused about what you're going into this school year. That's really good.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you for everything. I was able to get a lot of information that I can use and share with my students and parents.
Oh,
So
that's
that
awesome.
sounds great.
Well, please, as I said, in that Google form, I'll also drop it in the chat really quick for you.
Oh, I already filled out the Google form. Oh, you're good.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just going to drop my Gmail in the chat for you.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
If you lost it on that form, I'm isaacsedtech@gmail.com. You ever need anything, you want to collaborate on a collection or get my feedback, I definitely got you. And I'm just excited to hopefully hear some good stuff about how you're using it in your class. But again, I can fully appreciate that you're getting to learn a lot of new tools and just keep me posted if I can do anything for you.
Thank you so much.
You got it. All right. So at this point, we're in the final just under 10 minutes. I'm going to share a couple of resources with you, kind of explain what's available here. Maybe I'll give you maybe an app smash collection just to kind of close out if you're looking to really incorporate all different types of tech tools. But Laura, I would say this might be a little bit more appropriate for you, but if you feel like you have any teachers in your district that might be, wanting to venture into this platform as well, I'd love for you to share this collection again with them or share this collection with them. I'll drop it in the chat one more time. But what I did for you first was, I believe this is Misbah.
Hey everybody,
another
Misbah
amazing
from Wakelet
person on the Wakelet team. Although I don't want to pause him like that. I feel bad for him right now. Let me keep him going. That's also a bad pause job by me, but Misbah's going to have to deal with it. He's handsome and tall. He'll be okay. So it's just Wakelet in about 5 minutes. It gives you kind of a description. Do I feel like I've kind of done that today? Sure. I've done it in 90 minutes. God bless you both. But that is available to you if you want a little bit of a broad overview. If you are questioning whether your tech tool that you're using integrates with Wakelet, you could take a look right here and see the ones right out of the gate that are built in, that are like ones that are really popular, but there are also other ones. There are collaborative tools that can be brought right in. There's one that, I'm certified on it, but I lost it at this point. It has a collaborative whiteboard tool that integrates into Wakelet that you wouldn't have to leave. You could be able to do it right here. This graphic right here is excellent. And again, when you click on the images, they do enlarge. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a minute with a little bit of a minute where the dots are dancing. But if you're ever looking for a way to use it in your class and you're maybe struggling to come up with that idea, here are some great quick ideas on the go that you could create a very basic collection and then either share with your students, share with your colleagues, or just create for yourself. I mean, I'm not just using Wakelet in my professional life. Lois and I have curated a group of recipes that we like to make. Her daughter curated a Christmas list. I always make fun of Lois's daughter because I say you use Wakelet mostly to ask for stuff. But hey, if she wants to link the pages of the stuff that she wanted to get for her holiday or her birthday in an organized way that makes her happy, I was all for it. So she uses it as well. And I'm using it even in my tutoring, providing math resource collections for my students. But when you get to the bottom, You can go to my Wakelet profile. If you want to see all of the different collections that I've made public, you can. I've broken them down by category over here. And Elizabeth, again, if Moat really catches your eye, I would tell you to go to that Moat section. I've got some pretty cool different ideas for you to use and incorporate. I have a couple of templates that I created here as well. And if you, Laura, ever want to try to jump on the Wakelet wave going for certifications, you can use my community leader application or ambassador application as a guide. I'd be happy to have you do that. I also have examples of how I've used it for math. I had previously mentioned that volume using graduation cakes. This is the one. This is the one that really had my students just taking off. And you can see that I embedded a Moat player that has me explaining the purpose of this space. So these were kids who had never used Tinkercad before. These were their projects celebrating their own moving up ceremony. So I encourage you, anything that your kids are producing, if you can put it in one nice looking space, it'll really catch on with that agency and pride of work. I also provided you with all of the templates and different types of collections that are made by the Wakelet team. So again, if you don't have to start from scratch, if that's a little bit daunting, if you're out of time or you're getting to an important activity or event, you have so many different options underneath over here as well. All right, we're getting to the end here. Now, here's another thing. Joining the Wakelet community. Laura, if you feel like you're developing a passion for this platform, I would tell you that, possibly this community and maybe the Adobe community, probably the best communities I'm a part of. Microsoft Flip is great too, Elizabeth. I know you're big with them as well. But this community is supportive. They are down to earth. The people who work for the platform are welcoming. They are helpful. They get back to you if you, reach out to them, whether here on Twitter, regardless. So I would really encourage you, Laura, that if you feel like this is something that you want to connect with more educators, more Spanish teachers that are using this, even in a high school setting, I would recommend that you join the community hub and really kind of delve and try to collaborate a little bit with some other individuals in your field or similar fields. Now, as you saw, I actually provided a brief demo of incorporating a Wakelet collection within a collection. I brought in the Student Ambassador collection for you. And one of the collections that I'm maybe most proud of is one that I created with again, I've mentioned her about 1,000 times in this session, but she's also an amazing, that's really cool, Elizabeth. I didn't know that. So Laura, that might be a great spot for you to start. She's also a Wakelet ambassador as Lois, and a Wakelet trainer as well. So am I. So this was us at ISTE, where we were lucky enough to present for Wakelet at one of their booth sessions. We created a collection of the collections so yes, a collection of collections. We created a collection of collections that we felt showed off some of the best ideas that we had come up with or had been inspired by on Wakelet. So I would strongly encourage you. Here we did a Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. I did my best with the Spanish accento there. This was a door contest where Lois went around or had teachers take pictures of their doors. And then you could have students vote on this by clicking that thumbs up. And whichever picture gets the most thumbs up, then that class gets some type of prize. So many different use cases. I provided that to you in this collection, some math collections. These are my different newsletters. And then you also have things relating to, here's an EdTech resource hub on Book Creator app or Beluga. And then if you want to see the ways that I'm using it to tutor some students, that's another option for you as well. So I just really wanted to give you many different options of what you could look for. And Lois and I couldn't be more proud to really share this with the world after ISTE. But that is really all that I have today. I know that I shared an awful lot with everyone here. I can't, again, thank you both enough for being here, but we got a couple minutes left. What questions do you have at this point? Anything else, any feedback? I would love to hear it before we sign off for the day. But again, I can't thank you both enough for being here and being a part of this session.
I think I got enough to get started on it. So I'm hoping to expand my page and get all my resources on there. It saves me a lot of trouble of having to post different things up in my Google Classroom. So I can just have this one page, one link, and they can access everything. So that's going to be a big time saver for me, for sure.
And Laura, I'm sure you're very proficient at Google Classroom. A little quick tip that I found out recently: make a title for a section that has emojis on either side, and that already help your kids pick out that Wakelet section that has all that information in there.
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. Elizabeth, any final thoughts? Again, you were basically like my co-presenter here today. So really amazing. It's the truth. I mean, amazing ideas, being a cheerleader, also cheering on other attendees. Any final thoughts?
Just thank you for the space. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. I wrote down many ideas, bring it back to my community, to our community. I believe in empowerment. And Laura, I'm so excited for you, and your new journey and your students and your family, and be able to take that and build it and enhance it. You're going to have an amazing opportunity, and showcase all of that. Thank you for sharing all the wonderful ideas, Isaac, and your partner in crime, Lotus. Tell her I say hello. And you guys are truly inspirational. I appreciate it. Thank you for teaching me and inspiring me and walking out with more greatness and be able to implement and share with my community as well. I see the heart. So thank you. And looking into the future, Laura, when you get a little bit more exploration, you can create like little spaces on Wakelet. Like for me, when I have my own space, it's just my name, and that's when I do any PDs. I open up my Wakelet, and it's not pretty, it's none of that stuff, but it's all the links that they share, all the pictures of stuff. I just put it on there, so I can put it on my phone. So download the app too. There's an app, download it, and that way you can put it up on your phone. So if I forget something and I don't have the computer or whatever, I put it up on my phone, and there's my PowerPoint presentation or whatever the case may be, and I click on it and it takes me there. So it's a load of resources for you to be able to do that. And I shared it too with my administrator, because I do the PDs at school, and I have just a PD section for our community, and that's where all the PD resources are there. And they know they have a question, because you get lots of questions. Everything is right there for you. So it's truly impactful. So I'm excited for all of us. Thank you, my friend. I love the comedy. Keep it up.
You got it, Elizabeth. I definitely will. I love it. And again, I couldn't have been more excited. It's a platform that I'm probably most passionate about. So it was a real thrill to be here at the Back to School Reboot with everyone. And thank you so much for participating, and hope to hear back more about your Wakelet journey and how great it's going. But just wishing you both an amazing school year, and can't wait to hear more about how you're using Wakelet in your class. So wishing you both all the best. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody. All the best.
Thank you.